What's up, guys? Toyhouze here, and today we're going to be talking about how to get started playing a Necromancer in Diablo 2 Resurrected. This class is amazing. You can summon skeletons, you can shoot, bone spears, create bone walls, bone prisons. There's just so much awesome stuff that you can do with the Necromancer. So I'm going to basically talk through, what skill points you should get first, that is going to be optimal, talk about the best builds to go, the stat allocation, stat points, whether that's going to be strength, dexterity, vitality, or energy. We're also going to talk about what rune words to go after, what gear you're going to want to get. It's going to be very, very important. Some of the stuff we're going to talk there. We're going to talk about when to reskill. Do you need to reskill? We're going to answer all those questions, as well as what mercenary to get. All of that starting right now. So when you first start out with your Necromancer, basically my recommendation to you is, play whatever build or whatever, abilities you want to get. But if you want to level quickly, or you've already done it maybe in the past, you want to do it the quickest way, I think the fastest way is to go through the Poison and Bone tree. It's also a lot more active. If you play Summoner, it's going to be pretty much the slowest leveling build in the entire game. But it's very strong, of course, but it's very slow and it's not as active. It's a little more passive, but depending on what you're looking for, maybe that's perfectly correct for you. Now, for me, I already played the Summoner as like a kid, and I know how slow it is, and it's kind of fun, honestly, just to have skeletons running around killing everything for you, but I preferred to go through the Poison and Bone tree this time around, and it's what I recommend for people who are looking to move at a more brisk pace. So the first thing you're going to get is Teeth. Teeth is an awesome ability. It's going to be your main damaging ability for a long time until you're level 18 and you can switch over to Bone Spear. Teeth is amazing. It is a area of effect spell. It's going to allow you to kill mobs, in an area. That's what's really strong about it. So you can see here, if there was more than one creature here, watch. So you can kill like 4 people with one attack. It's great. So Teeth is a fantastic ability. It's basically what you're going to put all your points into, except at level 6, you're going to want to be aware, at level 6 you're going to want to get a Clay Golem. Now, Clay Golem is an incredible golem. I actually think it's the best golem, one of the best. It depends on what you're running, but, because Iron Golem could be better. But Clay is incredible because it slows enemies, and it's pretty tanky, and it actually scales very well. Over time, it actually gets stronger with you. So all the way through the game, Clay Golem can be very powerful. You can see here, it even says here, it slows enemies 37%. I mean, that's amazing. So it's got that ability. It's pretty tanky. It's a great ability. So even if you're going down the Poison and Bone tree, get the Clay Golem. There's no prerequisites. So level 6, you can get your Clay Golem. A curse that I really, really like is Amplify Damage. You can use this on bosses early on. I like to put Amplify Damage on, a target, and then I will go back and shoot my teeth at them. If it's a boss, and you need that extra little bit of damage, it's fantastic. So I get that ability as well. You can get this one, when you're about to encounter a boss. Maybe you want it for Andariel, just to help that fight out a little bit. You don't need it. I think most guides don't even recommend it, but plus 100% damage taken is super strong, and it can be very helpful. And another reason you want to get amplified damage is because you're going to eventually want to get Iron Maiden. One of the coolest things I experienced as a Necromancer is fighting Duriel in Act 2. Now, I think people meme about it a lot, but Necromancers aren't really the strongest class early on. They're actually kind of weaker, if you asked me. So the Duriel fight can be very challenging for Necromancers. But if you use Clay Golem, this guy right here, in conjunction with Iron Maiden, which, by the way, Iron Maiden curses the enemy, and it makes, I think at level 1 it's 250% damage return, or maybe it's 350. Maybe it's just always 350. It's a ton of damage returned, 350% damage returned. If you just fight Duriel, you put Iron Maiden on Duriel, and you just have him swing away at your golem. He'll probably kill your golem in 1 or 2 hits, most of the time 1 hit. So your job in that fight is to recast golem, recast golem, recast golem, reapply your curse. And that's basically the entire fight. And, use your potions, mana potions as needed. It's an amazing fight. It's something unlike anything I've ever experienced before. But Necromancer can absolutely take down Duriel. And so you're going to want Iron Maiden for that fight. Bone Spear is going to become your best friend. It does incredible damage. And by the way, I remember looking at this during the beta and it did not look quite right, and the alpha, but they really got it right and super impressive. So looking good. It also does a ton of damage. So this is a linear AoE. It pierces through the first target and will continue on until it dissipates. It's pretty good AoE. Watch, see, boom, boom, double hit. Perfect example of how Bone Spear works. One of my favorite abilities. You're going to be using this all the time. It's going to be your primary ability for this particular leveling specialization. So when it comes to point allocation, you're going to put a bunch of points into Teeth. First leveling up, and then you could respecialize or reskill at level 24 in order to put a lot more into Bone Spear and a lot less into Teeth. For me personally, I felt it wasn't necessary. I just decided that, okay, at level 24, I'm going to start putting 1 point into Bone Armor so I can have this ability. And then I'm going to start putting points into Bone Wall, because Bone Wall actually is an incredible synergy. You can see here, it gives plus 7% magic damage on the Bone Spear, plus it also gives plus 15 damage absorbed per level. Now, if you look at Bone Armor, we can't see it here, but it's like plus 10 per point. So, little fun fact, it's better to put points into Bone Wall than to put them in Bone Armor if you want to make Bone Armor stronger. So really, you don't want to put points into Bone Armor if you can avoid it. In fact, just 1 point is going to do great, and then Bone Wall is going to make both your offensive ability, Bone Spear, and your defensive ability, Bone Armor, stronger. So Bone Wall is fantastic. You could also do the same for Bone Prison. It actually benefits both Bone Armor and Bone Spear the same way. So you can do both of those. However, if you look at Bone Prison, it gains 8% life per level from Bone Wall. And if you look at, if you could compare it, Bone Prison actually gets stronger. It's just like Bone Armor. Putting points into Bone Prison actually makes it stronger at a slower pace than if you were to put it into Bone Wall. So Bone Wall is fantastic. I would, in order of maxing out skills, number 1, Bone Spear. Number 2, Bone Wall. Number 3, you could do Bone Prison. Number 4, maybe you could do Teeth. But at that point, Teeth doesn't help stuff too much. But you could do that one last. So that's sort of the build. And of course, now we were going to talk about gear. One of the first things you can get very early is Stealth. Stealth is fantastic. It's got 25% faster run walk. It's got 25% faster cast rate or FCR, which is amazing because you're going to be shooting Bone Spears super fast. It's fantastic. It's got regenerate mana 15%, and it's got poison resist plus 30%. Now at level 17, you're probably not going to be on Andariel at this point, because level 17 is you're already on Act 2. In fact, you're probably almost done with Act 2 at level 17. Your mileage may vary, but Stealth is fantastic. You need the Tall Rune and the Eth Rune in a 2-socket gray, make sure it's gray, chest piece. I recommend doing something light, like this hard leather armor. The strength requirement is low, so try to do something like that. You could do something even with a lower strength requirement, but whatever works for you. Stealth is fantastic. You can also get lore pretty early on. It's pretty easy. It really depends on your luck. If you are running Countess a lot to level, which is probably a good idea, you can get a bunch of raw runes, which you can then cube up to an Ort. And then a soul rune you should probably get around maybe Act 5 or maybe Nightmare. And so this lore helm is very good, +1 to all skills. Very, very strong. And then, of course, another really big one that you should get probably around level 35 or so, which is the minimum level requirement, is the white rune word. I actually just published a video on how to get this. It's actually a fun process. You've reached this point with your Bone Necromancer where you've gotten strong. Once you get this wand, you become on another level. You're just like, okay, I can beat the whole game with this character, because the character just becomes so powerful and it's so fun. So check out that video. It's amazing. I mean, look at the stats on this thing. +3 to poison and bone skills. I mean, what is that? Because just look at this. I mean, all the synergies. Bone Spear makes, what? It makes Teeth stronger, right? And then Teeth makes Bone Spear stronger, and Bone Wall makes Bone Spear and Bone Armor stronger. So +3 to everything. You're just so much stronger, right? And then if you get the right base on the runeware, you can also get that +4 to Bone Spear, which is crazy, or +5 depending on what base you get. It's so good. It's kind of hard to get. Not really. It kind of comes down to your luck, of course, as things go. It's fantastic. Highly recommend. And then the other thing is you can get either Ancient's Pledge, which is going to give you resistances, or you can get Rime. Personally, I think Rime is better than Ancient's Pledge. Ancient's Pledge gives you, I think, about like 40% or so resistances to everything, which is better than Rime in terms of resistances, but Rime gives you Cannot Be Frozen, and Cannot Be Frozen is very important because once you're frozen, your movement speed is slowed, your cast speed is slowed, and you're really, your damage is how fast you can cast, right? These bone spears. And so Rime allows you to constantly be attacking at full speed. It's very, very strong. It also has 25% magic find, better chance to finding magical items. It also does have 25% resist all, regenerate mana 15%. It's really good. So I recommend Rime. You need Shale and Eth. Shale might be a little harder to get, but once you're in Nightmare, level 35, it shouldn't be too hard to get. You could get a better base than what I found, but I was just like, I'm not going to wait for the perfect base. You need a 2-socket, 2 open socket shield. You could have found something better than this. I personally just found this gargoyle head that had like pretty good block on it. You can see chance to block is 50%, but this also does have 20% increased chance of blocking. So you can go for something higher if you're looking for that. But should be very easy for you to get. So you should be able to get lore, you should be able to get Rime, Stealth, and White. These are the rune words to go after. It's going to make your build super, super strong. Highly recommend as you're progressing to get these rune words. It's going to really help. Now, also in Nightmare, you're going to want to try to equip your Mercenary with Insight. Now, this was game-changingly awesome. Insight gives level 13 meditation aura when equipped. Now, I don't know if you saw, but my mana doesn't go down when I cast this. This is Bone Spear. It just, it does go down, but meditation aura fixes all mana problems. It's absolutely incredible. So going out of your way to create this is amazing. I just need to carry around healing. The hardest part about this is just keeping my Mercenary alive at this point, which shouldn't be too hard with Bone Prison. Basically, I kind of put him in his crib is what I like to say. I just put a Bone Prison around him and put him up. He's just my meditation aura, and I crib him. I put him in a crib, just like this, right? My Merc gets close to this guy, right? And it's just like, oh, get in your crib. There we go. And now he's stuck, and then I can go ahead and do my thing and clearing these mobs, right? So it's not too hard keeping him alive, but you should definitely get the Insight rune word for that level 13 meditation aura. That's really all you want on it. It's fantastic. So you need Raw Tier Tal Soul, and I used a poleaxe. There are better two-handed lances type things you can use for this. Partisan is sort of the best in slot one, but look for a 4 open socket. Make sure it works. Double check. It's going to really help you. So we talked about skill points. We talked about stat points. We talked about the gear to go after, really the rune words, and also when to reskill. If you're going to reskill, it'll be at level 24, I would say. You don't have to. I didn't, but it's so that you would get bone armor, get some points into bone wall, take them out of teeth, because you use teeth a lot all the way up to level like 18 until you get bone spear. So you got like 15 plus points into teeth. You don't need that. So if you want to reskill, put them into bone spear, put them into bone wall. You could also put them into Corpse Explosion. I never used it. I never found a need for it, so you don't have to. And the synergies aren't there. Nothing gains synergies. It's really teeth, bone armor, bone wall, bone spear, and bone prison is what you're going after. 1 point in the bone armor, 1 point into teeth, and just power out these 3 right here. You're going to be killer. That's pretty much it, guys. I hope I delivered on my promise for an awesome Necromancer beginner guide. This build will not let you down. I've had a ton of fun with it. I'm serious. Can't recommend it enough. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments section. And that's it. If you like the video, give it a like. Subscribe for more Diablo 2 Resurrected content. My name's Toyhouze, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.